$40 billion vanished in a single week. It wasn't stolen. It wasn't hacked. It just evaporated, because the digital dollar holding the whole thing together was never really worth a dollar at all. The man who built it, Do Kwon, had spent 2 years telling the world it was the future of money, a coin that could never lose its value, mathematically guaranteed to stay at exactly $1. In May 2022, it fell to 0.13 of a cent, and it took the savings of millions of ordinary people down with it. Before this is over, you're going to see an interest rate that should have been a giant flashing warning sign. A bank account, in crypto, paying 20%. You're going to see one line of logic written into the system as a safety feature that turned out to be a self-destruct button wired to the whole thing. And you're going to see a $3.5 billion pile of Bitcoin that was supposed to save the day and instead poured gasoline on the fire. Here's the part that makes this different from a normal scam. The money that flowed in was real. People wired real dollars, real savings, real retirement money. What they bought with it was the problem. And the man who sold it to them, Do Kwon, has now admitted in an American courtroom that he lied about how it worked. He pleaded guilty to fraud and was sentenced to 15 years. Let's kill the easy explanations first. Terra wasn't hacked. Nobody broke in and drained a wallet. It wasn't one rogue trader, and it wasn't just the broader market having a bad week. The thing that killed Terra was baked into its design from the very first day, hiding in plain sight inside the one feature everyone praised as genius. To see it, you have to understand what Terra was actually promising. Do Kwon was not some obvious con man. Stanford computer science degree, internships at Apple and Microsoft. He started Terraform Labs in 2018 with a co-founder, and a genuinely big idea, a stablecoin that didn't need a bank. Quick refresher. A stablecoin is a crypto token designed to always be worth $1, so you can move money around the crypto world without your balance swinging 20% overnight. Most of them are simple. For every coin they issue, they hold a real dollar or a real treasury bill in a real account. Boring. Fact. Kwon thought that was old thinking. Why hold clunky dollars in a bank when you could hold the peg in place with pure math? His coin, the Terra dollar, would stay at $1 not because anything backed it, but because of an elegant trading mechanism. No reserves. No bank. Just code. And people loved it. By April 2022, the Terra dollar was the third largest stablecoin on Earth, around $18 billion in circulation. Its sister token, Luna, hit $119, with a market value over $40 billion. The whole Terra world was worth about $60 billion. Kwon had a fan army that called themselves lunatics. He taunted his critics on Twitter. He named his newborn daughter Luna. He was, for one spring, a god. So how do you keep a coin at $1 with no dollars behind it? This is the heart of the whole story, so stay with me, because it's simpler than it sounds. Terra ran on 2 tokens. The Terra dollar, the stablecoin, was supposed to be worth $1. And Luna, a normal crypto token whose price floated freely. The system linked them with one unbreakable rule. You could always burn 1 Terra dollar and get exactly $1 worth of Luna in return. Always. No matter what. In calm weather, that rule defends the dollar peg beautifully. If the Terra dollar ever dipped to 98 cents, traders would scoop it up cheap, burn it for a full $1 of Luna, and pocket the 2 cents. That buying pushed the price right back to $1. Free money for them, stability for everyone. It looked like a perpetual motion machine. But look closely at what's actually holding the dollar up. It's Luna. The Terra dollar was only as safe as Luna was valuable. And what made Luna valuable? Mostly the fact that the Terra dollar was popular and growing. Each one was propping up the other. The whole structure was leaning on itself, and there was nothing underneath. No floor. That rule, 1 Terra dollar always gets you $1 of Luna, no matter the price, was sold as the safety net. It was actually the trapdoor. Because if Luna's price ever started falling while people rushed to redeem, the system would have to mint more and more Luna to pay them, which would crash Luna further, which meant minting even more. A loop with no bottom. There was still one question. Why would anyone hold a dollar coin that pays nothing? They wouldn't. So Kwon built the demand by hand. It was called Anchor. Deposit your Terra dollars into Anchor, and it paid you 20% a year. 20%, nearly risk-free, in a world where your bank paid you half of one. It was irresistible, and it worked. At the peak, around 75% of all the Terra dollars in existence, roughly $14 billion, was sitting in Anchor, quietly collecting that yield. Here's the catch nobody wanted to say out loud. That 20% wasn't being earned. It was being paid out of a reserve that was visibly draining, like a company paying dividends out of its savings account and calling it profit. The yield was the only reason most people held the coin at all. So the entire tower, $18 billion of it, was standing on an interest rate that the project literally could not afford. Critics screamed about this for months. They called it a Ponzi. Kwon's answer was to mock them and to buy insurance. His foundation spent about $3.5 billion accumulating Bitcoin, a war chest to defend the peg if it ever wobbled. But do the math, $3.5 billion guarding $18 billion. The fire extinguisher was a fraction of the size of the building. The first weekend of May 2022, someone started pulling huge amounts of Terra dollars out of Anchor and selling it. To this day, people argue about whether it was an attack or just the exits getting crowded. It doesn't really matter because the design did the rest. The selling knocked the Terra dollar off its peg, and the moment it slipped, the trapdoor opened. Holders rushed to redeem one Terra dollar for $1 of Luna and run. The system minted Luna to pay them. The flood of new Luna crushed Luna's price. A cheaper Luna meant the system had to mint even more of it to cover each redemption. The death spiral everyone had warned about was now running in real time, automatically, exactly as designed. The foundation threw its Bitcoin at the fire. It vanished into the selling and did nothing but drag the rest of the crypto market down with it. By May 10th, the coin meant to be worth $1 was worth 30 cents. By the 13th, Luna had gone from 60-something dollars to 0.3 of a cent. And the number that tells the whole story, Luna's supply. Before the crash, there were around 350 million Luna tokens. To pay all those redemptions, the system minted until there were 6.5 trillion. The blockchain itself was halted twice. Anchor's deposits fell from $18 billion to $280 million in 7 days. $60 billion of value was simply gone. It's tempting to say greed, and there was plenty. But greed isn't the engineering failure. Here's the real one. A real stablecoin holds something independent of itself. A dollar. A bond. Something that's still worth what it's worth even if the coin disappears tomorrow. The Terra dollar held nothing but Luna, a token whose only real source of value was the Terra dollar's own success. It was a dollar backed by faith in a dollar. Stability borrowed entirely from confidence, with the 20% yield paying the interest on that confidence until it couldn't. And the cruelest part is that the safety mechanism was the murder weapon. The redemption rule, the very thing that held the peg in good times, was contractually obligated to print Luna into infinity the instant faith cracked. They didn't have a bank run. They had a math problem that was always going to resolve to zero, wearing the costume of a bank. FTX hid real customer money behind a line of code. Wirecard hid the absence of money behind a forged letter. Terra is stranger than both. The money going in was real, but the thing it bought was only ever worth something for exactly as long as everyone agreed it was. So here's the lesson, and it's bigger than crypto. Whenever something promises you safety or stability or a yield that seems too clean, ask the one question Terra's millions of holders never did. What is actually behind this? If everyone tries to leave at once. Not what holds it up on a calm Tuesday. What holds it up in a panic? If the answer is other people staying calm, you don't own an asset. You own a seat in a game of musical chairs with a 20% entry fee. Terra didn't break the rules of money. It just forgot that the oldest one still applies. A promise is only as good as what stands behind it. And behind the Terra dollar stood nothing but the promise itself. Terra was the first domino, not the last. When it fell, it took a chain of giants down with it over the following months, hedge funds and lenders that had all made the same bet, until the wreckage reached one final company that thought it was too smart to fail. You already know its name. The link's on screen.